Okay, you all come in, hit that like, hit the share button. I was not planning on doing a live stream. Give me a second. Let me put some gloss on the lips. I know my lips dry on camera. Um, I was not planning on doing a live stream this evening, but I came across some things and I want to somewhat go back to my roots and breaking down of the numbers from a biblical perspective. And I saw a lot of things. I'm just strolling around on TikTok, and I saw a lot of things that alignment with March, right, which is technically the new year, spring into a new year, spring into a new season. In fact, I showed you all a video on Instagram on IG, and it broke down something that made perfect sense of why would people make New Year resolutions in January, because in the month of January, people are still in hibernation, where animals are still in hibernation stage, right? Animals are still hibernating. Nature is still dead in a sense. The leaves are not green, the grass is not growing, but yet um, we, including me, because I've never heard it from that perspective, taught as well, make New Year resolutions in January, and that's why many of them fail. They don't come to pass because it's not the season. And so to do it in the spring, where nature is also showing signs of growth and change, would be more effective or efficient. And our bodies will adapt to nature as well. Okay. And so, with that being said, you all, we have a possible, when I say we, the United States, government shutdown that can happen this Friday on March 1st, spring into a new year. So, again, come in, you all, hit the like and share button. I want to discuss two important dates, the 1st of March and the 11th of March. Now, technically, this is going to be 1/11, and then March the 11th, because March is the first month of the year, is going to be 4/11. It's 11/11. I also saw this in about the 49ers and the 49, and I'm going to show this with you as well, because it has never left my mind about the 49ers. And a lot of the things that I'm seeing with the 49ers and the San Francisco Chiefs, not San Francisco, but the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers, go back to the year of 2020, right? When the San Francisco 49ers played the Kansas City Chiefs, and they Kansas City won, right? They won. So I'm looking at a lot of things going back to 2020, and what are some things that happened on March the 11th of 2020. Well, let me first bring this one up. Remember, officially this pandemic hit in 2020, because we are in a leap year this year. So it is efficient to look 4 years back. Now, number four, again, uh, the 49ers, I'm going to break down the number 49 as well, and what that means going forward. And the browser cannot access, try a different screen. Give me a second. I'm trying to share my screen. I'm getting a message that the browser cannot access it. I don't know what's going on with this. Okay, so now you all should be able to see. Now, so you see March the 11th of 2020, after more than 1,000. Hold on, you all. I may put my glasses on. 118,000 cases. And you see the double 11 in both of these, in 114 countries and 4,291 deaths. The WHO declared C-19 a pandemic. So we go back, because this is a leap year, 4 years, right? 4 years ago, Kansas City beat the San Francisco 49ers. 4 years ago, C-19 was officially declared as a pandemic. So I'm continuously to look back at some things that happened 4 years ago. And this is even bigger, that 4 years ago on the exact same date as a result of the announcement. More than this was March 10th that led into the 11th. More than 70 billion wiped out crypto market in 24 hours, and Bitcoin dropped below $20,000. So Bitcoin fell below $20,000 on Friday, hitting a near 2-month low after a stock market sell-off in the United States. Investors also on a large ed tech focus on Silicon Valley. Now, why this is big, I want to bring up Silicon Valley again, right? History does not repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And I think it's going to rhyme in 2024, such as it did in 2020, in a lot of ways. So Silicon Bank said it sold off more than $21 billion worth of its holding at a $1.8 billion loss. So we know Silicon Valley is connected to California. That dropped. And notice the 24 hours in this 24 hours, 2-4, right? Also, I'm going to break down the number 6 as well. Bitcoin briefly fell 8% to below 20,000 on Friday, hitting a near 2-month low after a stock market sell-off in the United States and a collapse. Now, we are having a stock market sell-off right now. Warren Buffett is getting rid of a lot of his big stocks. A lot of these Jeff Bezos, they are selling off their stocks. Now, Ethereum was down $1,414.21. The crypto sell-off had been prompted by a number of factors. The movement of cryptocurrency prices is quite closely correlated to the U.S. stocks. So it was also banking worries, March the 11th of 2020. Another major factor weighing in on crypto prices, the collapse of Silvergate Capital. This was in 2020 as well. A major lender in the crypto industry. Remember that? Silvergate said that it was winding down operations and liquidating its bank. This is March 11th of 2020, where I'm predicting we're going to start seeing this happen Friday of this week and going into March 11th of 2024. So Silvergate, also another collapse of a major cryptocurrency exchange, FTX. All of this happened March 11th, continues to have an impact on the industry. FTX was a big customer of Silvergate. Also, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation closed Silicon Bank Valley, took control of its deposits, and it was the largest U.S. bank failure since the global financial crisis. The bank's parent company, you all remember this now, the bank's parent company, SVB Financial, said late Wednesday it sold off 21 billion, that's with the B, worth of its holdings at $1.8 billion loss. So SVB was a major bank. And guess what? The major bank was in the technology space. So this was in 2020. Now we have this that can happen this year. Another bank collapse on exactly the date again of March 11th, right? So again, we are in a leap year. So we have to look back 4 years back, the number 4, and see what happened in 2020 to predict what's going to happen in 2024.
After March 11th. Fox is saying a lot of people are saying that banks are going to collapse after March 11th. Fox is saying that 2024 is going to be the biggest crash of our lifetime. CNN is saying that Wall Street is worried about another regional banking crisis. You have doomsayers on social media saying the exact same thing, but they're amplifying it. So what's happening on March 11th that's going to lead to this inevitable crash? The reason why this happened is because of the bank failures that happened in 2023. There were 5 total bank failures last year, Silicon Valley, Signature Bank, and First Republic being the largest ones. The Federal Reserve came in and implemented the Bank Term Funding Program, also known as BTFP. Pretty much cheap loans given to banks to make sure that they could stay liquid amidst all the hard times. And for a while, banks actually were making money off of this because the interest that they had to pay was less than the interest that they were getting holding their reserves at the Fed. The banks were actually getting 0.47% in profit by doing this. Now, those loans are coming to an end. Right now, the total balance of all the loans taken, at least last month, was $161 billion. So now there are wild predictions for an economic collapse. Fox News provides a study saying that there are 186 banks vulnerable to a SVB like collapse. The fact that the office sector in commercial real estate is plummeting is not helping banks that are heavily invested. Bank Term Funding Program, also known as BTFP. Pretty much cheap loans given to banks to make sure that they could stay liquid amidst all the hard times. And for a while, banks actually were making money off of this because the interest that they had to pay was less than the interest that they were getting holding their reserves at the Fed. The banks were actually getting 0.47% in profit by doing this. Now, those loans are coming to an end. Right now, the total balance of all the loans taken, at least last month, was $161 billion. So now there are wild predictions for an economic collapse. Fox News provides a study saying
So let me stop right there. Let me break this down. Let me explain it to you. The banks are not getting any cheap loans after March the 11th, which means the consumers or us, if we want to take a loan, the banks were in profit with the cheap loans. Now they will not be. It will be more expensive for the banks to lend money. So guess what? Consumers will not get cheap. It's not cheap anyway. House interest rate on houses has increased, interest rates on vehicle has increased. So if it's more expensive for the banks and it's not profitable for the banks, this can end result cause a bank failure. Now let me show you what happened again, March the 11th of 2020, the same thing. You saw or you heard where he said that SVB, there's a possibility that 186 banks connected to XVB. And this is the 2020 article. This is Silicon Valley Bank took control of this deposit, making it the largest U.S. bank failure since the global financial crisis. The bank's parent company, here's their company again, SVB Financial, said late Wednesday that it sold $21 billion worth of its holding at a $1.8 billion loss. SVB was a major bank in the technology startup space. So here we go again. Same thing, different year, right? Let's see. Of the bank's collapse, Fed to allow emergency banking program to expire March 11. Biggest crash of our lifetime is predicted, right? Another regional banking crisis, Wall Street. This is going to, this is set to expire. Emergency banking lending of this year, right? And then we have a high possibility of a government shutdown this Friday. And these are a list of banks: J.P. Morgan, First Citizen Bank, which this is just going to usher in the new central bank's digital currency, right? This is going to usher in the new central bank's digital currency and the end results, right? Borrowing costs, where they were currently getting a profit at 5.40%, then they're not going to get this profit anymore, which is not going to make it profitable for the banks to even give loans and money to consumers. And for a nation that runs out, say 186 banks are vulnerable to a SVB like collapse that happened the same date, 2020. Now we see that every 4 years you have a new POTUS, new president of the United States, right? Now you're seeing this financial reset from C19 that's likely on scheduled to happen as well. Another article explaining this: the Fed allow emergency banking lending program to expire. So a lot of things put in place due to C19 is now reaching the expiration. And this is why it would not surprise me, again, if this government shutdown really did happen. The 2 days are March 1st and March 8th. Now, the Republican Party, the Senate has already said that if the government does not approve or does not shut down the border, if we don't do anything, that they will not approve the financial terms or the lending that they want. So funding Lifeline created for banks last year after collapse of the Silicon Valley threatened a spark of wider financial crisis as scheduled. The sunsetting of the program, you all look at the terminology that's being used, the sunset, the sunsetting, right? March 11 has been signaled by feds as officials fear in the banking system abated. The BTFP recently designed an emergency situation. The Fed's chair, triggered by SVBs, is a Silicon Valley's, secondary backup financial institution. It was designed for an emergency. We want to make sure that the banks and creditors of the banks and depositors banks understand that banks have liquidity they need. So you all, when the banks do not have the liquidity that they need, they go bankrupt. And now you mix this with the perfect storm of a partial government shutdown, which means you all, this is not going to be pretty. So again, I'm saying like 100 people on my YouTube. If that's correct, I need you all to hit the thumbs up and also to come in and saying hello, because that means you're in the background, you're quiet, and you're not even making comments. So I want you to come in and make a mind message connection and engage in the conversation, leave your input. I also, this came up, right? And I was just perusing on my laptop, going through some emails, and I saw this saved in my email, the gematria of 49, the time of the end. So let's think about the San Francisco 49ers, right? The time of the end. Truth has a shape. The cross is the shape. Hello, thank you for somebody coming in. Thank you, Angel. Thank you, Angel, for being an angel and saying hello. When we look at the shape of a cross, spiritual truth is presented in our minds. So not only do numbers have spiritual meanings, but geometric shapes as well. I want you all to understand that numbers have spiritual meanings and geometric shapes. Now, the number 49 is the square of 7. 49 equals 7 times 7, right? Again, let's think of the San Francisco 49ers. The shape of 49 is a square. The spiritual meaning of 49 is the meaning of the number 7. The spiritual number 7 means the end, right? 7, on the 7th day of creation, God rested, as is to say, take note. Now, also, that word rested in its Hebrew definition, in its original form, biblically, means to reset, to bankrupt. That number 7 means to bankrupt. Well, thank you all. Now you coming in. Hello, Latoya from Florida. And hello, I can't pronounce that name. Thank you all for coming in and saying hello. Right. I like to connect with my people during the live stream. So the spiritual number 7 means the end. It means to bankrupt. On the 7th day, God rested. We sometimes think of rest as we lay down, we're tired, we take a temporary nap or a rest. No, this means Jesus bankrupt, right? He crashed. It reset. Now, God rested, as to say, creation has been fulfilled. The number 7, again, we're breaking down 49. 49, as in the San Francisco 49ers, what they represented, and the Super Bowl, the time of the end. And the spiritual number 4, message or motion. The number 7 relates to the motion of events, particularly the fullness of time or prophecy. God measured time 7 and multiples of 7, the Sabbath of the 7th. The Jubilee is the 7th year, right? The Jubilee is the 7th year. And also, God says appointed time for all things. For example, the flood, the years of a man shall be 70 years. Also, remember the flood, the rainbow had 7 colors, a divine transition, right? God bless you as well. Thank you, Keith Carr, for coming in and saying hello as well. God bless you as well. So the number seven means 7 times 7, 49 is divine transition, right? Um, the number seven, for example, in the book of Revelation, the story of culmination of our prophecy to the end time, also known as the time of the end, equals 49. There's a connection between to the Father's love, the time of the end, that reveals is to us who believes. Now, the Bible does not even mention a rapture. So I'm not even thinking in terms that this is the end of times. No, that's not what I'm saying. This is the end of the financial cash system officially, and things are going to be bankrupt and reset, right? Things are going to be bankrupt and reset. Also, in Daniel's seventh week, Daniel is the book of prophecy. This period of time is explained in the book of Revelation from chapter 7 to chapter 19, right? The time of the end. Now let's look at this 49, the time of the end. And again, I am not talking about rapture. The rapture is not even mentioned in the Bible. In fact, Revelation said it will be a new heaven and a new earth, and that God will come and dwell among us. It's never God's will to do away with heaven and earth, right? In fact, it said when it's talking about two women will be grinding in the field, one will be left behind, one will be taken. Well, the ones that are left on the earth are the ones that are really saved. That happened in Noah's time. The one Noah and his families was left. The ones that were caught up in mid-air, did not say heaven, were caught up were for judgment. And those were the one that was judged, not the ones that was left on earth. So we have 49, the time of the end of the cash system. 12 is the number of government. 8 here says holy man, but 8 is the number of infinity, Revelation, or infinite, Revelation 1 and 11. I am the first and the last. I am the Alpha and Omega. So this is where we get 29. 9 plus 2 is 11, the holy ones, right? The government of earth, the gold blocks. The holy man, infinite, the red blocks, the holy ones or the angels or the witnesses. And this figure represents time preceding the time of the end, 49. The porch period just prior to Daniel's 7-day week. Now, persecution is coming for how the United States have persecuted other countries through monetary. The Bible does state, for the love of money is the root of all evil. And definitely the lack of money is where all evil is carried out. The love of money is the root of all evil, and the lack of money is where all evil is carried out. So we have 49 that represents the end of time, right? The end of our currency system, the banks collapsing, the banks reset. Now, 4 is the number of creation in the earth that signifies completeness and global universality, right? It is the number of the earth realm. There are 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall. There are 4 elements: earth, air, water, and fire. There are 4 dimensions in a day: of the day, morning, evening, and night. Morning, noon, evening, and night. So it is the number of the earth realm of what will happen in this earth, right? On the 4th day of the Bible is what's called creation week. And God created the material universe. He brought into existence the sun, the moon, and the stars, right, on the 4th day. Now, with this being said, by the 4th day, 4 things were created. There was light, land, liquid, and life-bearing food. Seed was then be able to be life-bearing food for humans and mankind. Um, Again, 4, news, north, east, west, and south, right? north, east, west, or south. The four witnesses of God on earth are miracles, wonders, signs, and the gifts of the Holy Spirit. What will happen in this earth realm? Number four. The number nine is the number of completion, right? A woman carries a child in full, where it's not premature, but in full pregnancy, or an infant, right? In full pregnancy for 9 months. That fetus, that infant is hidden. And when it's birthed out, that which is hidden is now revealed. Nine is the number of judgment and finality, right? It represents the end of something, right? There are nine gifts of the Spirit, for example, nine fruits of the Spirit as well. And so that which is hidden will be revealed with the number nine. So this we have the 49ers. Now, in scripture, used 49 times, the number nine is divine completeness. Again, now with this being said, not only on March 1st, then we have a partial government shutdown. March 11th, we had a big crypto crash in 2020. Banks crash are scheduled to do funding to happen in 2024. And now Biden is summoning Congress leaders to the White House to talk about the Ukraine and government funding. The top four leaders of the White House on Tuesday to discuss the emergency aid package for Ukraine and Israel, as well as avoiding a government shutdown next month. Now, they are on vacation right now. So the Senate will not return until Tuesday, and the House won't return until, I think, Wednesday, of this week. So, discuss the urgency of passing the age pack, the emergency age. The Republican House is under pressure, you all, to pass a $95 billion national security booster that gives aid for Ukraine, Israel, as well as Indo-Pacific. Yes, 95 billion. Now, this funding ends March 1st, so it could be a partial government shutdown that happened March 1st, and then again on March 8th. So let's break down the number 8. It is the number of new beginnings. Family, I talked about Noah and family earlier, 7 colors in the rainbow. 7 means divine transition. But Noah's family consisted of 8 people on the ark that survived the flood. Right? 8 people on the ark that survived the flood. So we have the number 1, which I don't even understand this ark. But anyway, I tell people all the time the Bible is a book about metaphors, allegories. New Testament, it tells you clear that Jesus speaking in parables, and people don't apply the Bible. The Bible is a very practical book. Like, it gives you practical things to do, but people look at it as something spiritual and spooky. I don't believe Noah's Ark ever happened. I think this is an allegory. It is giving you life through storytelling, through like folk tales type things, and because people are an allegory is something or a picture that can be interpreted to reveal hidden meaning, a moral of a story. And so people are so caught up into believing that these were actual events that they don't catch the moral of the story or the hidden message through the allegories. So the number 1 denotes to unity. Now, Noah's Ark only had one window located at the top of the ark, and it was the size of a football field. But if you want to say that really happened, that's fine with me. But tell me, what moral of the story did you get out of it? What hidden message did you find? Let's not dispute if it happened or not. Let's dispute, are you catching the hidden messages in that being said? Are you getting the knowledge and the wisdom behind it, and how you're going to act out as a result? I listened to one of my old videos, and boy, I was like, wow, I am very direct. Believe it or not, I don't think I'm a direct person. I think I'm a teacher, and I'm passionate about what I do. But I listened to that video, I'm like, oh, I'm very direct, right? And I said, this is not the video to come in and talk about who we should have voted into office or who should have been a POTUS, and are you Democrat or Republican? I said, either you're going to criticize government. Government does not care if you criticize them, or you're going to strategize. It's just that simple. Either you're going to sit back and criticize and twiddle your thumb, right, and talk about the good old days, and and what government is doing. Government doesn't care whether you're Democrat or whether the president is Democrat or Republican. I can tell you one thing both have in common, that they are rich, right? And so March 1st really is 111, the new year, and it represents independent from its independency. Is the number one is divisible by itself. The independency that other country, the BRICS nations, are looking, right, to get away from the United States. In fact, let me see. Let me see. Can I pull this up? One second. So we have March 1st, 111, right? And then March 11, 1111. And one represents independence. It is divisible by itself. Also, no, that's not what I want to show you. So this is which we're going to sit back. We're going to see, will history repeat itself? Will we see another crash and banking collapse like we did in 2020? Again, this is a leap year. We're 4 years back, you all. We're 4 years back. And I said 2 plus 4. I'm going to break that down in number 6. 6 is the number of man, of human beings. We have Adam that was created on the sixth day, and the wild beasts that just represent that you 6 days, things in nature were made. On the seventh day was a spiritual day. So the wild beast represents your pituitary gland, that part of your brain, the reptilian part. That seventh day, that spiritual day, that rest or reset, represents when human and spirituality combine together, as in of the pineal gland, right? 6 is one fewer than the perfect number 7. 6 indicates human intelligence and intellect, but it also represents human incompleteness as well. Meaning that if you don't tap into the spiritual, right, if you don't have foresight, if you don't have patience, many people cannot see this financial reset. You have to be spiritually minded as well. And so with this, the manifestation of man's desire happens. 6. Man is appointed 6 days of labor, and on the seventh, or rest on the seventh day, from Friday to sunset to Saturday to sunset. That's the Sabbath. A Hebrew slave, for example, had 6 years before he could be released, and the seventh year. So 6 years represents labor. It represents bondage. And then in your seventh year was the year of divine transition, of a reset, right? 6 years were appointed for land to be sown and harvest. And this number is also associated, right? You had 6 years to labor, to prepare, for preparation, for land to be sown and harvest, right? So with this being said, you all, the 666, I haven't gotten into biblical numbers in a long time, But when I watched that video, oh, this is my daughter. When I watched that video, I'm like, it's time for me to get back to my roots, right? It represents the beast system of governance that mankind can produce without God, under the constant influence. And a lot of people say, oh, 666 is the mark of the beast. Oh, the mark of the beast is coming. Look, if you've been using cash, you've been inside the government system of cash. That was the beast system. Trying to find a dollar. Let me see. Most people are right hand dominant. If you've been using this, the system of governance that mankind can't produce without God, because this is mankind's money and this is God's money. You've been in 666. That's why the richest man, King Solomon, the richest king in the Bible, um, Second Kings, is it 10 and 14? He collected 666 ounces of gold from his own intellect and knowledge every year annually. But then he went into, let me pull that scripture up. Ooh, I haven't did Bible numbers in a long time. And then he tapped into the spiritual. And he said, Second Chronicles 1:11, right? He was in his natural mindset, natural state. And then in Second Chronicles, see here we see the 1:11. Do you all want me to go back to these Bible numbers, money by the numbers? You want me to go back to show you where we are headed, right? God said to Solomon, since this is in your heart's desire that you have not asked for wealth, possessions, or honor, nor for the death of your enemies, and since you have not asked for long life, but wisdom and knowledge to govern my people. This is my prayer all the time. Second Chronicles 1:11. Whom I have made you king. So Solomon got away from himself and said, you know what? I'm going to combine my natural wisdom with the spiritual wisdom of God, with the spiritual guidance of God. Right. And that's all the 666 represented in Solomon. That's it. That he was operating out of himself, out of his knowledge. And then he changed his heart, changed his way. Second Chronicle 1:11, and asked for God to give him wisdom and knowledge to direct his people. And so, you all, we are going back to the future. We're going back to, you want me to go back to? Tonya said that. You want me to go back to? I've been through some things in 2023, but I can go back. I was like, woo, I was something else back there in 2021, 2022, right? But I tell you about, I told you all about my diagnosis of CLL, chronic lymphocytic leukemia, form of cancer in 2023. So I did have, and then when you look at 20, I did have a reason to kind of change up because I was going through some stuff, but that's okay. The key is I went through, I came through, and I am through. So we have 2024, which equals 8. 2023 equals 7, divine transition. Now we are in the infinite. We are in the Revelation 1:11. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning of the end. We're coming to the end of this and to the beginning of the fourth industrial revolution of cryptocurrency, digital money. But if you see the dip next month, within the next couple of days, and crypto crash, um, all I'm going to forewarn you is to hold tight, because we have the Bitcoin halving that's going to happen in April. And also, I've been telling you all, go to this website, Millie Moves, get your physical gold and silver as well, because as you all saw with AT&T and these cell phones, they can crash down and you won't have access not only to your banks, especially we see a banking collapse starting March 11th, right? So he said, let's go back. Well, I can go back. I can go back now. I thank you, Toya. I appreciate that. But your banks can lock up your funds as well. And I'm not saying to go make a bank run, get all your cash out. That's not what I'm saying. But I have my reserves in place, and I have real money. Because when it gets so bad economic wise, these stores might not want your cash anyway. You know, they may want commodities for commodities, and this is Silver and gold is both cash and commodities. Now, 666. Since you want me to go back, let's go back a little bit. When 666 is multiplied by 7, that's 4,662. That means man's total imperfection, right? Spiritual perfection is the number 7. Imperfection. So when added across, the 4 plus the 6 plus 6 plus 2, with this total, when divided by 3, equals 6. I know I can't show it to you. I'm just talking. When we add 4 plus 6 plus 2, it equals 18. This divided by 3 equals 6. 3 divided by 18 is 6. So the man system on earth is made up of 3 parts. It's made up economically, religiously, and government. Religious and government and economics. All are which are influenced, you know, by man, right? And by the beast government system. Now, some of you all may be asking me, well, Queen, if cash, and maybe you didn't, maybe you're not asking me this, but I'm gonna answer it. If cash is, hold up, I just saw this article I want to share. Let me see, can I pull it up? Is the government's the beast financial system, then won't crypto be as well? I mean, you all want to know the answer to that. If cash is the government's financial system, won't crypto be as well? You all want to know the answer to that. In fact, when I go to Whole Food, they ask for payment on the right hand, with your right hand, or palm payment, right? It's already in place. Revelations are, is already in place. The United States had around 18.5 billion $100 notes in circulation in 2022. So cash is no longer king. So why are we printing so much? A majority of payments in the United States are made through credit and debit card. Yeah. But going back to 2022, it shows that cash and circulation have consistently increased economic certain segments of the consumers. When it comes to how Americans prefer to spend their money, cash is not actually king. So they are already saying that Americans don't even prefer to spend with cash. In 2019, only 20% of payment were made with cash, right? In 2023, a study conducted by the Federal Reserve shows that credit card was the most preferred method of payment, making up 31% of the payments. Next was debit card, 29%, then cash making 18%, right? Now, this hasn't stopped the consistent printing of cash, however. Every denomination and more cash that is printed, more that is increasing circulation. From the humble dollar to the Benjamins, as of December 31st, there were $54.1 billion in notes in circulation compared to $22.9 billion in 2002. So what this happened is, or what this means is that the more cash in circulation for the population, the higher prices go. In fact, California right now is debating that for politicians, a $50 pay increase, a pay raise for minimum wage to $50. So back to the question that you all didn't ask, but I'm gonna answer. Let me adjust this. And that is, well, if cash is the government's, the beast, the man's financial system, mark of the beast, your forehead, that's why you have pictures on cash. That's why it's pictures of men on cash. Most people are right hand dominant. The mark of the beast, you can see his forehead very clear. It's right there on it. So if you're not afraid of this as the 666 mark of the beast, why would you be afraid of crypto? This is just a rhetorical question, which means that's right, you shall like this post, which means you don't have to answer, but I do want you to think. Man's intellect to create a new currency system. God gives man that authority on earth. He says the heavens belongs to the Lord, but the earth I have given unto mankind. But the wisdom and knowledge in the Bible states that you take government money, man's money, and you convert it into real assets, things that God created. Silver, land. They're not making. God is not making any more land that I know of. Real estate, tangible assets, things that increase in value. They're digitalizing crypto on the blockchain, tokenizing oil, natural gas, commodities, black gold, right? Gold, physical gold. And so God allows man to make the financial rules on earth. Now, whether you want to learn them or not, that's your decision. It's not mine. And why would you be in a system? Why would you be in this earth realm and you don't want to learn how to the laws of the earth realm? You don't want to learn how to play the game. That's like saying you want to be a professional athlete, but you don't want to learn the rules, or you want to be a professional football or basketball player or soccer player, or, but you don't want to learn the rules of those sports. That makes no sense. You want to play the game, the money game in this earth realm, learn the rules of money. Now, I don't know if Patrice is still on here. If you are, let me know because you are the tax queen. She is the tax queen, and she helps you maximize your tax deductions or your tax refund, right? If 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 you are worthy of that, she don't make up things. I just wanted to know, have you heard anything from a tax perspective that if this government shutdown happens March 1st, this Friday, will it delay tax return? Right. And typically during an election year, they don't allow the economy. Um, they do not allow the economy to just go afloat. Right. They don't allow the economy. I'm trying to pull it up myself. To go bad during the election year, they want to keep the economy pretty much up. So I'm not saying with 100% assurity that this will happen March 1st, but if it does, it will not surprise me. The deadline to file tax return. The IRS started 7th January 20. I know they started 7th January 29th, but I'm pretty sure if there's a partial government shutdown, that there will be a delay in tax refunds, right? And tax refunds. So hey, we have to Friday to see what happens. Probably with Thursday night at midnight. I will keep you all updated and informed as much as I can within the next couple of days, just to see where we will stand on that. But again, March 11 is a big date as well, as cheap lending to the banks will expire on that as well, and which means if the banks cannot lend cheap and profit from it, that they are in position to go bankrupt. So you are prepared right now for the fourth industrial revolution, the greatest wealth transfer of all times. And I'm going to say what I used to say, like, let's go back to the basics, right? I want you to maximize your mind, multiply your money, and manifest with your mouth, right? That means to think big, to think about position yourself, maximize your mind for the greatest wealth transfer. This is like getting in Amazon and getting in Microsoft and Google during the .com era. So maximize your mind, multiply your money. I did not say add, multiply. Jesus did not add. Deuteronomy 1:11 say, may the Lord thy God, the God of our ancestors, bless you and increase you 1,000 times more. We're God of multiplication and manifest with your mouth. Whatever happens in your mind, whatever you speak with your mouth, it will happen in time. So make sure those are things of positivity and not negativity. You all have a great, great rest of your night. Let's get ready for the great wealth financial reset of our time. You all, Queen out. Have a great night.